the Bulldozer Matt Tremont, the 8-time Deathmatch Tournament winner, the former 2-time world champion, the owner of H2O Wrestling. And if there is one podcast to listen to, that is the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get ultraviolet, motherfuckers.
And good evening once again, fans. You're listening to the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. They're more than welcome to come on, too, anytime they want to come on.
Oh, man, the girls pop good like.
All right. It's a budget thing. Let's hear what he's up to.
Thank you, man, and thank you for giving me the time.
Tune in right now. And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. At this time, my guests of the hour, MrWright, and the Queen of Hearts, MrWright. How are you tonight?
We're doing good, man. How are you, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got off with Mad Max, the crazy one, Morrison.
There we go.
And
I didn't hear you for a second. What did you say?
I said I just got off the podcast with Mad Max Morrison, and
nice.
that was great.
Nice.
Great character he is, and actor he is. And but there's one guy you know I just had him on the podcast as well, and you probably know him, Bryce Cannon.
Yeah, I know Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
How was that interview, huh?
Well, it was a lot of White Claw and just talking, talking. Alcohol was getting to him. But
yeah, Bryce is an interesting character. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
He can just keep his mouth shut. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, and I just saw he just got jumped by one Gallows. So
yeah,
surprise.
Barking up a redwood on that one. I don't think he's ready for that kind of heat.
He got an awakening.
Rude. I think he got an awakening between the legs, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, that must have been a surprise to see that, huh? You're like, uh-oh. You're right? Like, this is going on right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he got off both of his feet. Mm-hmm. Gallows laid it in. Gallows is a good dude, man.
He really is. He's been in business quite a long time as well, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we
first time
a few times.
Mm-hmm. I first saw him in a local indie show, Carney show, he character too. He's
those little Carney shows are the best ones, man. Those are always fun.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so it's glad to have you both on the podcast and let her, and she can speak as well. Speak.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Ask whatever you want to, or I'll ask whatever, the basic questions. Who trained both of you? How's that?
I'm good with that. I've had actually training everywhere. I mean, I've gone to a few seminars. I've had a lot of in-house training. Let's just say that. I mean, I've bumped shoulders with people like Fred Yehai and Luke. I got a lot of knowledge from Luke too. But I mean, I kind of just bounce around and just kind of learn from everybody in the locker room. I mean, if you're not learning from the guy sitting next to you, not learning because the guy sitting next to you is coming up with you. I mean, you should always listen to the people that were there. But this business evolves on a weekly basis. And I mean, you already know that. I mean, if a wrestler misses 6 months, I mean, that's a lifetime in the wrestling business.
It is.
So,
it is.
I mean, I honestly, I try to soak in whatever I can. I know that she does the same. She's been really trying to figure out her game. She's a lot newer. I've been in the business for about, I think, 4 years now. I think it's 4 years. But I mean, when I met her, I was 3 years into this.
Yeah.
She kind of got a trial by fire.
pulled into it.
Yeah, she kind of got pulled.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're with a wrestler, you just don't have a choice. I mean, it's either going to be you're all in with that lifestyle or you're not. So you got to crash.
And yeah, so she's a manager of you, and which is really cool, and it gives it and it's a different role as a a manager, and she gives the attitude, the experience, learns from you, and you teach her as well, and people what the crowd likes to see, the reactions from her, and the actions that goes on in the ring, what I mean? It's
you can you can ask Bryce what
yes,
her bad side feels like. She rapped him on the jaw.
You don't threaten to hit a lady. So.
There you go. You don't threaten to hit a lady.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. But what do you guys, what's the worst fan to heckle? Who was your worst person ever to, like, in a crowd when you had a show, like the worst person, like just an old person? It could have been a fat person, just like one of those obnoxious person, just you wanted to get in your face and, really late, wanting to.
I think probably. Well, see, it's funny because you say worst. I mean,
there's so many. I know. Yeah.
There is a lot. And it's weird because, when you're working, you don't, like, obviously you pay attention to what's going on outside of those ropes, but you're most of the time you're so focused as to what's going on inside that you don't even realize what people are saying until after you're done. And you're like, did dude really say this when I was in this position or whatever? I mean, or
spit in my face, or come on, really? Or get ready to throw a chair. Get ready to throw a chair at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since I've been on this last run, I mean, I've really tried to play it, be the nice guy. Skrilla went off on a tangent. I mean, once he won the championship, he kind of went down a dark path and strayed away from me. I mean, Skrilla and I were in a tag team for the longest, Right Way to Skrillville. But it fell apart. We were both gunning for the title, and he ended up winning. He went down a dark path. I tried to stay straight and narrow because I knew he was better than that. I mean, you can win a title without cheating. You can win a title without calling a dog in. I mean, and Skrilla, the great athlete.
Yes.
I mean, he could have done it without that. He still can. I don't want to. I despise what he's been doing. On my side, I don't think that there are any hard feelings. I hope that one day he can, turn it back around and come back to the light. It's the right thing to do, with a capital W. But I mean, I don't know. As far as the fan heckling thing goes, I don't have like a worse one. What I do have is a consistent one, and it's give a shout out to him, Trey Easterling. Just about every show, every match, you will hear something that will either kill the crowd or kill a guy, because he can say something when everything's quiet, and he will actually stop the match somehow.
No way. Oh, man.
But, I mean, that's just, I don't know how he does it, but he's just got impeccable timing. I mean, if there's a dead spot in the match, man, you don't want Trey in the crowd.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you see the fans, and then you get the little kids that cry, and you make them cry, and that's the.
Now, about a year ago, I was working for, I did a little run in Lariato, and I mean, I got some pretty bad hecklers there. I mean, I was running on a different cylinder. I was on a darker path at that point, but I got a lot of heckles there. But like you said, it's the typical, it's the kid, or it's the big guy that never committed himself to being an athlete, so he's got to pour it on somebody else. But I mean, that's the business, man. I mean, that's almost half the fun of it. Yeah, I mean, good guy, bad guy, face heel, whatever you want to call it. I mean, getting that reaction is what you want. So
and then getting the interaction with the chest chops,
Oh yeah,
that's the best, like
Taking
right,
those.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah, those are never fun to receive, but I know that I've got quite a bite this next show, December 6th at the Thirsty Turtle.
right.
I'm wrestling Trevor at Eon, and
It's gonna be terrifying.
it's going to be scary. But I will tell you this: I mean, win, lose, or draw, I will bleed, vomit, or die in that ring before this goes anywhere.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I fought really hard to get here. I had to fight my best friend to get this. So Trevor, if you are listening, I will sacrifice everything for this. I will sacrifice everything for this. I will put it all on the line. I will leave it all in the ring, and I will try to shake your hand outside of it if you don't, atomize into the shadows.
You know what? She could always challenge you for that title as well.
First, anyways, you know how it goes, right?
Yes. But yeah, it's you're on a roll, and congratulate you, and it's what you do for the fans. You get yourself out there and have fun with wrestling, man. It's all about it's not about
absolutely.
It's not about the fortune. It's not about the fame. Like they all say.
It's really not. You hear a lot of wrestlers say,
yes,
if you're not here for the title, then you need to go home. And I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent. But I mean, there are a lot of guys out there that get different things from what they do, and you kind of just have to respect it either way. I mean, it's real easy for a guy to get bored with something or get stale with something and switch gears and be completely successful at something else. I mean, there are plenty of guys that had singles runs that didn't go so well, and all of a sudden they get put in a tag team and end up being one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I mean, sometimes you just have to switch gears and be able to evolve.
Yeah, it's like you look on TV nowadays, and you see these new guys coming in. Like these guys, the young guys, look at these dark matches they're doing for AEW. And they're just getting thrown under the radar just to see.
And a lot of guys are missing a lot of. I mean, if you're an independent worker right now, the iron could not be hotter. It could not be hotter. I mean, 2020 has been a rough year, especially on the business, and I mean, I think everything has taken a hit this year. But right now, I mean, dude, if you're an independent worker right now, man, dude, walk through any door that's open. If you got a kick, if you open, do it. But right now, it could not be easier to be successful right now. All you've got to do is put the work in. I mean, there are doors opening left and right because of, companies are having to restructure themselves now. And there are guys that would have never gotten opportunities on television tapings a year ago. They would have never gotten those opportunities. They would have been extras in the background.
Yeah.
They would have paid $500 for a day, and they would have been
exactly.
And you see local guys like Leon Ruff. Shout out to Leon and Aja Pereira for what they've done, for what they've accomplished the past year or so. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, Leon is a great athlete, but be honest with yourself. 2 years ago, would he have, when everything was at its highest, when WWE was making the most money, packing out houses still, would he have had a chance? Would a guy like him have had a chance? Would a guy like me or Rice or Skrilla or Towers or anybody like that? I mean, look at Towers right now. Towers is putting himself everywhere, and I could not respect that more.
And you know what? Times will change, and you'll see. You never know. You never know. That call could be right now, could be tomorrow. Could be and you'd be like, wow.
Say yes to everything right now if you're a worker. Say yes to everything. Because nothing could be a bad experience.
But would you like to travel to? I'm sure you like to travel to shows as well. Like if you came to the, like to the Jersey Shore, there's plenty. I have some connections, and I can.
Put me on it. It's the right.
That's it. That's it. There's a title being called out right now. So 2021.
I'm down for it. I'm down for
an open challenge. Like
open
it's
challenge.
The guy's name is Monster Mac of the Heavy Hitters. I'm sure you heard of that name, Monster Mac.
I have.
Of the Hit Squad. Yes, Dan Moff. Well, the one Dan Moff in Ring of Honor. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Woo woo.
Yeah. But no, Moff's Monster Mac is still doing his thing, man. He just got the title this past Saturday, so it's open for anybody. He calling anybody out. So yeah.
Well, good luck to him. Absolutely.
So maybe that could be you. That could be you. You don't know it. You don't, right?
I hope it's me. I hope it is. I've never been more sore in my life than I have been the past. I mean, ever since, and I'm going to be real here, Trevor is a threat to me. I've never worked out harder. I've never done cardio harder. I've never thrown up so much. Preparing for him. Like I said, December 6th, Thirsty Turtle. You do not want to miss that bout. It's going to be a brawl because I don't know if you've ever seen this guy, but he brings it. And I'm not going to just keep up. I'm going to do better than that.
And I guess that's it for tonight, folks. We're done. That's a wrap.
Well,
How's that? Look at that. Stay tuned, fans, because you know what? MrWright's coming back with the Deathmatch Russell again another day because he's tired like I am. We're all calling, and the missus is tired too. We're all just worn out.
But I will never quit, son. I'm putting GIPW on the map. I want to get everybody in GIPW going where they need to go and spread them out because that's what they deserve.
I want to thank you both for coming on and stay tuned. You'll be back again.
Yes, I promise you. I will.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, fans. That was interview number 2. I want to thank my guests, Mr. and Miss Wright, for coming on. And you know what? He's thirsty. He's got the gold in his hand for GIP Dub, and he's ready to take on all comers. Call it, bring it. Make your presence known because he's ready for a challenge. Like I just said, an open challenge. Dan Monster Mac, if you're hearing this right now, Titan 2021, man. Maybe this is an opportunity to shine for MrWright and other promotions as well. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. And that's it. I'm out of here. Good night. Friendly reminder, friends, just to remember, support Deathmatch Russell podcast on all platforms. And like always, shout out to, buy some merch for Mr. Wright and Miss Wright on bootandheel.com and support other wrestlers as well and support Deathmatch Russell podcast as well on bootandheel.com. Type in the name Deathmatch Russell podcast. Check out the lineup of merch they have. They have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, you name it. Any wrestler has merch. It's on there. Check it out. Just go search their name. Look at all the names of the wrestlers that are on the Boot and Heel website. Fans, thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Have a good night, everybody. Till Sunday. My guest will be the Freak, the professional wrestler, Draven Lee will be on the podcast as well. Tune in this Sunday at 8 p.m. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Wrestling podcast. Till then, see you on Sunday. Good night.
You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media: DeathmatchRussell.com, follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32, and on Facebook, Facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32.
Instagram at DavidNJ36.
Hey, wrestling fans, I want to mention Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow was founded on traditional values of professional wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product intended to connect with people on an emotional level, a symbiotic relationship where one cannot flourish without the other. We strive to create a product that embodies our passion for professional wrestling expressed through street fashion. Visit collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code DeathmatchRussellPodcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Collar and Elbow, where wrestling passion meets street fashion. Me on Podcast City Network at podcastcity.net, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share. And on Twitter at Podcast City Net. You can hear Deathmatch Russell Podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.